I'd like to start with a very, very brief quote, and maybe I'll just need my...
Yes.
Yes.
There, it's actually behind the...
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
you know
lovely.
How to manage it? Yeah?
I think
yeah.
I'll
Okay.
manage
Okay.
it. Thank you. But before proceeding, I'd like to start with a brief quote about that starts with Maria Montessori, because we are all here as lecturers, and the topic will be going around children, and children need education, and education is related to the inspiration of what a teacher can do. And Maria Montessori used to say that the greatest sign of success that a teacher could have is that the students are now working as if the teacher did not exist. And what I believe we achieved with this platform is that we had this beautiful new thing that operates and allows the students to function as if the teacher did not exist. So today we'll be focusing a little bit about family mediation. And I'd like to introduce a brief idea of what this process could be defined, and that would be a process in which the involved parties in a breakdown, whether it be a couple or other family members, actually appoint a third party neutral. And what they want to achieve with that basically is better communication and reaching decisions that are their own decisions. So they have to reach to those informed decisions that concern some of the issues that relate to separation, divorce, children, finance, properties. But I will not be keeping you long, because we are all here much into the depths of mediation, and we'll just quickly browse through the process, and we'll focus of what could be a sort of an innovative approach towards family dispute mechanisms. So family mediation process, as every mediation process, has its own separate stages, starting with the fact-finding procedure, the non-conflicting points, and outlining what are those, identifying problematic issues that you may want to be focusing on, and basically proceeding then on to interests, defining the interests of the direct participants of the conflicts, while remaining mindful that, especially in family conflicts, what you may have basically are other members from the bigger circle of the family that are involved directly or indirectly in the conflict, which could be affecting the process and whose interests might actually be of importance when you go down to brainstorming the potential solutions that are there for the family. Coinciding those interests with the best interests of the child. I know that family mediators often are sort of the authorized parties to protect the interests of the child, and they have a separate role to ensure that whatever is reached as an outcome of the settlement actually is in line with the best interests of the child. That is also true for the court. When a settlement is reached as part of the family mediation process and you present the settlement for approval by the court, then the judge would most likely be appointing a third party neutral also to ensure that this settlement reflects the best interests of the child. So as family mediation process, and as every mediation basically has, you have your set of potential solutions which are generated in a brainstorming session with the two parents, and the challenge here is, of course, being with both parents wanting as much to take custody over the child as they have a deep interest into that, and settlement being the last point. But what we would be trying to do as family mediators is to involve more and more some of the tools that actually could bring a better outcome. And one option to do so is by having private meetings with the child. This is part of the mediation process, and the child has the right to the same set of principles that guide the mediation, to the same set of rules that apply to the parties. So you could expect that the mediator meets the child in a confidential caucus, meeting the standards of neutrality, and asking the child whether whatever was shared as part of that caucus could be then forwarded or could be transferred to the parents. And that's something that is taking more and more importance as part of the process. Then this is a detailed in-depth study of the interests of each parent and determination of the degree of polarization that they have, which is an important tool that a family mediator could use in order to neutralize some of the biggest polarized interests that could be there. Then there is this therapy sessions that could be part of the preparation that parties go through. And I'll spend a little bit more time about it later on. But those basically are important for the purposes that the parties are actually prepared to take part in the procedure beforehand. It is often a big challenge for a mediator to have to overcome the resilience of parents who are still yet into their positions, who are still not well educated of what could be the impact of a divorce or of litigation for a child. Then additional enhancement tools would also be deferring the parents' focus on their principal assertions towards something that could be the actual needs of a child. It is very much into the hands of the mediator to guide that process and to recognize what are the theoretical statements that each parent may have and how they may coincide or go against the interests or the needs of the child. And then last but not least, the reality test technique, which is one of the important tools that are the basis for finding a solution, especially in those aggregated cases that family conflicts are. But what I would like to share with you, and the aim of family mediation, if we could define two basic goals that family mediators seek, one is better communication, the second one is decisions. Having the parties be aware that they're taking informed decisions on the basis of a rational decision-making process that involves assessment from an objective perspective of the needs and interests of their children. And those sub-aims that the family mediation has is to minimize the stress, to promote a better relationship, working relationship between the parents, to diminish risk of abuse or to handle abuse if there has been signals that abuse has been taking place, ensuring that the best interest of the child is protected, and optimizing the costs for the future, helping parties develop their own financial tools that they would follow later on. This all goes to the impact of maximum empowerment of parties, which is the true and main reason that family mediation is taking more and more popularity. And to give you a insight of what we are doing in my country, in Bulgaria, we have developed a project, and it's an innovative piloting project. It's called Focus on Children. And Focus on Children is a project that would be developed now into the court system, one of the biggest courts in Bulgaria, where we would want to set an example or a new model. And what that new model would look like is the following. We have court proceedings today that basically are referring to mediation blankly and without giving much in-depth details as to why mediation, why in a family dispute you may need it. So what we are settling right now is a methodology or an instrument, as we call it, an innovative instrument for court referral to mediation, and also a methodology for how to assess the best interest of the child. One single methodology that may apply to judges, to lawyers, to mediators. So by having a single objective test criteria for assessing needs and interests of a child, you're actually securing that all the stakeholders involved in deciding family disputes have access to the single instrument. Then what the court referral mechanism would look like is introducing informative sessions with parents. And what are those? Those are 4-hour sessions with parents that are parties already to a court dispute. And those parties take part in a course where they would be educated about the impact of litigation proceedings on their child, what their child wants them to know. And the purpose is basically to raise the awareness and to prepare parents to actually take part as a well-informed parties in a mediation process, also facilitated by the court. And this mediation is a court-referred mediation, whereby the caucuses with child and children of a dispute are also involved more and more intensely. And through having those 3 steps, basically, we are aiming to revolutionize our system for solving family disputes. And the biggest goal is that we educate the parents first before we put them through mediation, with the belief that we're not educating them how to parent, but we're educating them of what mediation could do for them and what their child actually wants them to know. And to give you a glimpse of what their child actually may want them to know, here is a set of examples. A child may would like to know that the parents, that he loves the parents. And let's just quickly browse through those. I love you both, and that won't ever change. Or I don't want to hear negative things about the other parent, it really hurts me. Or tell me the truth, don't lie. Please don't argue when I can hear you or when I can see you. Or don't try and buy me affection. But don't worry, I really like having 2 Christmases. When I am upset or angry, it's not always because of your separation. I have my own issues as well. Or don't try and make me part of an immediate new family with your new spouse. Or it can be hard to go between 2 homes. Or I need an emotional permission to love you both. Or be there to listen when I need you. And all those things, they have a powerful impact on parents that are going through court system and that are being prepared to enter into a mediation. When they know or when they hear or when they see this as part of this 4-hour informative sessions right before the start of their mediation, there is a click. And then they see that, hey, we can actually settle this. And the project is realized, it adopts an interdisciplinary approach. And the approach is basically, from the one side, from the Professional Association of Mediators in Bulgaria, to give the impact, the legal impact and the mediation. On the other side, we have the National Mediation of Network to allow, to have an approach that they are promoting this mechanism towards civil society in Bulgaria. Institute for Social Practices, Foundation for Our Kids, where they have psychology expertise, an association of parents, which also offer the guidance of psychologists and therapists who are helping design those materials through which basically the informative sessions and these methodologies that I told you of would be developed. So that's all for now, and we'll keep you posted of how this project develops and what are the first results of actually piloting a new system that wants to revolutionize the way family disputes are being resolved. Thank you.